Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw for week 4, another 7 curious interesting things I saw last week. So let's crack on. First one is Brooklyn Nets launching the Netaverse. Obviously it wins just because of the name, but also this is actually apparently the first US pro sports team to use this technology. So what we're seeing here is a live game being generated near to live in 3D. So these are all essentially 3D forms, or what we call volumetric capture. It's using Canon's free viewpoint system, and what that really means, you've got 100 cameras around the court capturing the game live, turning it into 3D characters live, and therefore you can see this game. Now the benefit of this is you can get amazing camera angles you could never normally get. You can obviously freeze the game whenever you want, you can look around any of the players, you can sort of take each one of the shots or each one of the plays and you can sort of interrogate it and pull it apart, all those sorts of things. So yeah, so it's really interesting. Obviously this will be coming to more sports soon. We've seen this in demos, but it's really interesting to see it come to the pro world, the live TV world, so to speak. There you go. Second one, POAP. I assume that's how you say it. It's quite close to poop. This is proof of attendance protocol. So this is kind of curious. I'm not quite really sure what to make about this one, but what this is doing is it's minting NFTs to prove you were somewhere, so you actually attended something. So for instance, if you remember Foursquare, I don't think it's a million miles away from that. If you went to a conference or maybe you went to a concert or something like that, then you could claim your minted POAP, and you can display them on your POAP gallery, which you can see off to the right hand side. This is apparently allowing event organisers and also fans to have some sort of ongoing relationship, and they can prove who was there. They can do things like votes and raffles and all that sort of thing. If you're actually there, you might be able to win something. So there you go, NFTs coming to the real world and back into the digital world again. So there you go, POAP, look for that. Now this is the ultimate stuntman, so this is kind of cool. So this is NC Soft, and what they're doing here, this is a scientific paper. And what they're doing here is they're feeding in lots of sort of random, slightly disorganized control, sort of human movement, and it doesn't really need that much, to be honest. You just feed in some sort of random tumbles and kicks and runs and all that sort of stuff, and it figures out what the body is doing itself. Now you can see a human leaping about here. Now what's really special about this is actually you can see the controls along the top jumping about. This is somebody essentially pressing a joystick or a game pad, and it's filling in all of the movement it needs to get to the next movement automatically. So it's figuring out how to go from a kick to a backspin to a jump or whatever it is. So you don't actually have to animate any of this anymore. So it just knows how a person works and therefore will animate it. And it even works for horses, it works for dogs, it works for anything. You just feed in how a load of horses work and it will automatically figure out how to move from a trot to a canter to a standing still to a rear, whatever it is. So that is pretty cool. So it's called the Ultimate Stuntman. So you can imagine this absolutely coming to computer games, but also you can see this in the movie industry as well. So really interesting fluid movement. Now you can see at the top, by the way, that little bar going along. That basically just means if that little turquoise bar ever gets above the white bar, that means that it probably is a bit too slow and therefore won't be useful to games. So what it's doing is it's not only doing it, but it's also being super responsive. There you go. The Ultimate Stuntman. This is Gogan, or Gogan 2, shall I say. Now Gogan is obviously a bit of a play on Gogan, but GAN is basically an adversarial network, should we say. And what that basically means, it just keeps working with itself to figure out whether it can generate better and better versions. So Gogan is an image creation neural network, generative adversarial network, obviously for its full name. And what it allows you to do is one of two things really. Is you can just draw, as you see, this is me drawing on the left hand side. I'm drawing a landscape with some trees and some bushes, whatever. I'm telling it that's a bush, for instance, and here's a bigger bush down here, and then I just press the button and I say please generate this as an image, and it'll then say okay, here's an image, and you can see me going up to the right hand side and changing its kind of style, and it can generate them on the fly, and I'm doing this literally live. What you can also do is you can see down the bottom, you can just type in actual words, and this is me typing these in. So I said a forest in a sunset, and as you can see, it's a forest in a sunset, river rapids flowing over boulders, and that's exactly what it gave you as well. So you can actually just type in freeform stuff, as long as it's broadly speaking within its training set. So that's super powerful. And this used to be something you had to kind of install and put all sorts of assets and things going on, but now you can actually just play with it on the website real time. So website is in the bottom corner. Please go and visit it and have a play. It is mind-blowing. There we go. Talk about mind-blowing. This is Lushfoil. This is a photography sim of all things. So you can imagine, we keep talking about the metaverse, and you can imagine this being what photographers do in the metaverse. So it's just showing the detail. And this is using Unreal Engine 5. So somebody using essentially a simulation of a DSLR camera to take photos of plants and things like that. So, and you can walk anywhere in this little alpine meadow on this little path, and you can walk down the path and take more photos. And what they've done in Lushfoil's photography sim is they've created a huge array of scenarios and buildings and landscapes and things like that. You can just walk through, go and take pictures of plants and trees and sunsets and mountains and lakes and whatever you want to do. So I thought, it's kind of interesting. You can see where the metaverse could go at this level of live detail. But also I thought it was just really interesting. Just the grass was amazing. So go and check them out. They're on. It'll be launched on Steam, which is, if you don't know, it's a sort of a game downloading playing system, later on in 2022. There you go. Twitter announced NFT profile pics, which you're thinking, sorry, what? Aren't they just images anyway? Well, they are, but what this does is it proves you've actually got, you've actually bought a JPEG as an NFT. That's basically what it does. And it does that by putting your profile picture in a hexagon. So if you are essentially a normal person and you put an image in your profile picture, it will be a circle. If you have an NFT, and the way this works is, if you have an iOS phone, by the way, this will only work at iOS at the moment, but you click on the profile picture, it then says, okay, have you got an NFT? You then connect your wallets, and it has to be one of a certain kind of wallets, so MetaMask and that sort of thing. You then can only use images as well, obviously, so you can use PNGs or JPEGs. But what it then allows you to do is say, right, this is my actual image, I'd like to do this. You also need to be signed up to Twitter Blue, which basically means you need to be a paid subscription, which is like $5 a month or something like that. And if you've gone through all of that, it allows you to show your NFT off in a hexagon in the top of Twitter. So there's quite a lot of kind of discourse really online about this, in that it's, it's showing off your wealth essentially. A, you've got an NFT. B, you're paying for the top tier of Twitter anyway. So it's kind of not particularly democratic, should we say. So anyway, so that's coming soon. I'm sure it'll come to other platforms with other NFT formats, etc., etc. However, there you go. Twitter NFT profile pics. Look out for hexagons coming to Twitter. And finally, really, really interesting video by Tom Scott. If you're not subscribed to his channel and you like interesting things, you must do that immediately. So this is a really interesting video. It's actually a couple of weeks ago, and it was all about the background hum in electricity being used to catch criminals. There was a criminal case where the prosecution, or the defense at least, said that a video was cobbled together and it wasn't actually at the time that it was actually said to be edited. And what they actually did is that apparently what you can do, or not apparently, it's actually true, Tom will show you in his video, when the electricity, the mains electricity is generated, it's not actually a consistent 50 hertz. There are slight wobbles in it, slight noise, slight hum. Now your recording equipment can actually take on that hum and therefore embed it into your video. The National Grid publish all of the variances, so therefore all you've really got to do is run a program just to look for the variance that you find within your audio and find it in the National Grid, and you can then timestamp exactly when that video was created. So anything that was created essentially with a studio mic may well have a signature in it that can exactly date it almost to the millisecond, in the UK at least. So there you go. So that's really interesting. So if you work in any sort of criminal video forensic lab and you don't know about that, you may want to check that out. So Tom Scott, awesome video. With that, we are done. Hopefully that was interesting. Hopefully it was useful, and I will see you next week.